because that man lying there has had a checkered history and a very difficult relationship with the security services of Kenya. That has to be stated very, very honestly. A lot of the state security services were prepared in the manner to say, this is your enemy. And that is the relationship for a long time that they've had with Raila Amolo Odinga. He was not well treated at all many times by our security services. Whether in his days as an activist fighting for political reforms, or even as an opposition leader, and more recently as a presidential candidate. There has been a mindset in the state security apparatus that this one is a no-go zone. I mean, in our lives as reporters, we've come within earshot of some of the conversations that are demeaning of the person, demeaning of the leader. And today, we've watched them, and we're watching them saluting Raila Amolo Odinga. This is a great moment of reflection for this country, because unfortunately, state security apparatus has sometimes been used very, very unfairly and partially against fellow citizens. In a multi-party democracy, that uniform these ladies and gentlemen of our uniformed services are wearing belongs to Kenyans of all political persuasions. No person in uniform should be convinced by a politician that there is their side and there is the other side. Because what that breeds is the divisions that we've seen over time. And prejudices, Yvonne, I must say, because we've seen them. I still remember the election of 2013, the presidential election of 2013, when policemen, completely unprovoked by anybody, deployed as a matter of course to Kibra.
To Kibra, yeah.
And started beating up people just for being Kibra residents. This is the kind of poisoning of the state security apparatus that we've seen. As we talk of fixing the politics, we have to fix the state as well. Because this is the most unlikely moment, and that's why I talk about the irony of this whole day. Raila Amolo Odinga is getting in death the honor and the salute he rarely received in his life, principally because even our security services were trained in a way to believe there is another side and there is this side. That is what has been delaying our progress. And I think to the discussion that was held earlier here by Rashid Abdallah, one of our guests there, Reverend,
yes,
spoke about elections. And when you look at elections in this country and the role the security services play, if we audit whatever goes wrong with our elections, you'll find that some of the security services play very negative roles in this country. Some of them are actually responsible for the delay of political maturity in this country. Step back and allow politicians to compete in a free and fair election. The winner is the one you will salute. They are your fellow Kenyan. Don't have this preset mindset that leadership should not go to somebody, this person is not the right person. Because I want to submit, and I don't want to join Kenyans in this being polite thing about how Raila Odinga was treated and how we've handled our elections. Because I think I've been a reporter, journalist long enough to have heard and watched and seen. I've been to polling stations and I've been to tallying stations. I've been to police stations and I've been to the IBC, ECK offices and I've seen what goes on there. Which is why, from this point, let the security services, as they salute the body of Raila Amolo Odinga, know that every Kenyan, any Kenyan, from wherever part of this country, working hard and following the law and following the processes that are existing in this country, has a right to leadership. If they win elections, then they win elections. Because this thing of having interference from security services, maybe I should talk about 2007, because I'm sure my colleagues, my seniors especially, at some point will be able to talk about 2007. In 2007, just before the election results were announced, there were phone calls and conversations, especially to media. The line is normally predictable. We have only one country.
Yes.
This is our country.
Why do you want to ban this?
Why do you want to ban it? Don't ban it. Where will you go, if it bans?
Media will function in a burning country. Yeah.
Yes. So this is normally one of the ways to prepare you for a particular outcome. Yeah. This should cease to be the role of security services. The day our state security apparatus and the public service plays an independent role, just be objective. And by the way, let me give credit again to the same security services and public service. Without them as well, in 2007, the country was going to tip over. That should have been a lesson of why your distance as security services, your distance as public service with political leaders should be healthy. You serve the government of the day. You don't appoint the government of the day. And this is the one thing that we really need to, I don't know, is it a culture change that we need to talk about to the security state apparatus? Don't interfere with elections. Let the voters decide the elections. Let the IBC count the vote. Let it be counted as independently as possible. Because in 07, you know, security services clear the room, yes, switch off the lights, yeah, and escort Kivuitu to one of the rooms.
Yeah. To make an announcement.
Is that still an election? Is that still a decision of the people? It's not. This is a moment of reflection as they carry this body. Let it remind them that as Kenyans, we are equal. I think Bishop spoke about, it's actually the guests that were here with Rashid Abdallah, who spoke about meritocracy. Yeah. When is meritocracy going to come in our politics? When are we going to allow meritocracy to take precedent? Because there are people out there, I am one of them when it comes to the election of 2007, who believe that Raila Odinga has been winning a couple of elections. And a friend of mine joked this morning, and I don't consider it a joke, that, you know, even this coffin can potentially force a runoff. For those who don't believe that this man, there is a connection between this man and the number of votes that he should have been getting. I think in the totality of this, Yvonne, when it comes to electoral matters, let this be the last Kenyan that is going to be treated this way. Let votes matter. He's tried to reform the place, including through the courts, and the Supreme Court will be celebrated for a long time for the decision of 2017. Because remember what the Supreme Court, basically, the Maraga bench basically said? It couldn't find a relationship between what they was watching on television versus what people actually said on the in the polling station. Yeah. It's the one cancer we need to fix, how we do elections in this country. For those who believe Raila has been winning elections, for those who don't believe, I think my point is, in electoral matters, no one should be treated the way this man has been treated for 4 out of 5 elections, if I can put it that way.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And now that process with those various security officers has been concluded at exactly 4:46. They shut Raila's coffin and are now doing the final rites and processes as they send him back to the Lee Funeral Home for an overnight stay, and then the journey begins once again tomorrow. Earlier, we'd seen pictures of the senator of Siaya County and the host of the final send-off for Raila Odinga, Siaya Governor James Orengo, arriving at the home in Bondo to sign the visitor's book and make, pay his respects as well at the home. A lot of work has gone into the preparation of that home by both national and county governments there in that process. And this is that moment there where his casket is being loaded into the hearse and for the final. I wonder if we can just hear and listen to this moment, if we can just listen into that and just witness this moment. With that, as they now prepare to take him back to the Lee Funeral Home, we will be following that to let you know what happens. Once again, of course, the journey to Kisumu begins tomorrow in the morning when he will be airlifted there from here in Nairobi. Linus, I wonder if we could go back to the discussion we were having about the role of the women in the struggle and the role that Ida Odinga played beside Raila Odinga, married for 52 years. But, you were talking about how, after his release from his 6-year stint in prison, then he goes missing again. And his wife, Ida Odinga, goes to court asking, the state to produce her husband, the habeas corpus. Maybe you could carry on from there.
Oh yes, and the prosecutor,
yes.
Bernard
Chunga, yeah,
reported to the court after 2 weeks that he's been detained. And so the judge then dismissed the petition for habeas corpus because now he admitted that he is in state hands. One would have thought someone like Ida will stand there and take us through the very painful journey, the story of the painful journey the family has taken, and she did not. This is grace. This is humility of a kind that we cannot even begin to describe. She was dismissed herself in 1988. So after the court said Raila is detained, the place she was working at Kenya High School.
Yeah,
she was a teacher at the Kenya High School.
Yeah.
And a letter came from the Teacher Service Commission,
right,
retiring her in public interest. Those are the wordings of the retirement letter that was written to Mama Ida Odinga way back in 1988, that she has been retired in public interest. Yet she had worked for the public
interest
for the public for 15 years. And the story goes that it was a very difficult time because she was given the shortest time, I think the shortest of notices to leave the premises of the school. And Ida got 2 lorries to carry her luggage from the school. She was asked, where will you go? She said, I don't know. I hope my relatives will welcome me to their places. And that's how she left the public service. Did you see any of that in her speech today? Any bitterness? She goes ahead to talk about what Raila told her, that peace is important. Let's keep peace.
And that over and over and over.
And she repeated it many, many times. And this of a person that a section of our political divide spent many years painting as violent, a man who feeds on blood. But, you know, he suffered a lot of profiling. And not just profiling, but
witchcraft,
dehumanization.
all sorts of things.
Yes. Sometimes they called him that he engages in witchcraft. The last election, you saw something about witchcraft versus prayers.
Yes.
That is the man that was being described by Mama Ida, that he kept repeating, let's do peace. Let's have peace in this country. And then she also spoke about forgiveness. It's forgiveness that she has demonstrated by never ever even talking about this story. And we've seen politicians who, you know, go through one thing, you know, you've only been blocked once from a rally.
And now it becomes...
And you know, you got some distant fumes of tear gas, and you know, you want to bring the house down for it. This family has suffered. And I think this is the story that Kenyans should really know and correct what they thought of Raila Amolo Odinga as he goes to his grave. No, he was not violent. By the way, he's never been convicted with any... Absolutely not. And the lady there, Mama Ida, is describing what he really stood for. The bishop also actually, to a great extent, spoke about these attributes. But if for lack of any other evidence, just look at the history. Look at the history. And I think last Wednesday we were here and I spoke about his history of not pursuing his electoral victories beyond the necessary victories. And in 07, he still went and negotiated with Mwai Kibaki, and I gave the example of what, in similar circumstances, what Cote d'Ivoire did. In Ivory Coast, I mean, Alassane Ouattara said, no, that is my victory. And ODM, the party he belonged to with William Ruto and others, and the Pentagon, had the majority in parliament. It was the majority party in parliament. And with that kind of political weapon, another candidate would not have budged.
Yes, for sure.
You would have told Mwai Kibaki, no, you know, that won't work. I want this. But he always stepped back. And I think President William Ruto today said something about Raila Odinga always being there when the country needed him. And I think that's true of Raila Odinga, that he separated his interests and those of the country. He knew exactly when to say, okay,
let's go.
Let's go for me, and let's pull back. And many times he really pulled back from situations that would otherwise have tipped this country over. And there they live now.
On board the gun carriage, now leaving the Nyayo National Stadium at exactly 5 o'clock after the process, the public viewing was concluded exactly 14 minutes ago at 4:46 p.m. when they shut the coffin. After members of the public paid their respects, members of the security forces, the military and others paid their final respects. And now 14 minutes later, Raila Odinga's body aboard that gun carriage as part of the honors attendant to a state funeral, now making his way back to Lee Funeral Home.
And look, Yvonne, this is a big story around the region and around the globe. It's being followed very, very closely. Because political maturity is shown in a number of events, including how we handle our leaders. And Kenya is today having yet another of the very few, or do you call them, state funerals that we've had. This one being different in the sense that this was really a person who carried the identity of leader of opposition. Raila was never really mainstream government. And I saw my friend Hopewell Chinono, who is the Zimbabwe journalist, does a great job there and does a lot for media freedom around Africa. And Hopewell compared what he was seeing today with what happened in Zimbabwe. In Zimbabwe, there was the opposition leader, the first opposition leader after their multi-party return to multipartyism, that is Morgan Tsvangirai, who, like Raila Odinga, actually won the 2000 election, but the incumbent Robert Mugabe refused to accept the results and caused violence and sent Zimbabwe down the drain. But Morgan served as prime minister in a coalition again that was forced by the circumstances of that election. And in Hopewell Chinono's view, he had advised the government to give Morgan Tsvangirai a state funeral and also declare him a national hero. And his argument was, this is good for national healing.
Yes.
And this is the thing that politicians normally miss. There are moments like this that actually just demonstrate political maturity, national unity, a country that is confident with itself. And Hopewell felt Zimbabwe missed that, and he was watching and following these events in Kenya, where Raila Odinga is getting the full state honors and thinking and saying, yes, this is something worth emulating. Do we as Kenyans appreciate that? We ought to.
Yeah.
We need to. Some of these things, for Kenyans, sometimes we do these great things, and we are used to them.
Miss it.
We always use.
We miss the moment for what it really is.
Yeah, because we're always winning the steeplechase. So what's great about it? You don't know that there are countries that can't jump that thing. For us, it's normal. So even these state funerals, let's not miss the moment to appreciate the maturity that comes with it. And for this, I think, kudos to President William Ruto for doing this, and also for the military with the precision with which they carried this out. And of course, we're only midway through. A state funeral means the body belongs to
the state
for all
rights and honors.
Until it actually goes down the grave. So the military, the Kenya Defense Forces, will tomorrow still be handling Raila's body. Let there be no notions that it'll be handed over to somebody else. It's in the hands of the KDF until it actually goes to the grave sometime on Sunday. This is political maturity. This is stately maturity. We need not to miss these moments, that we are able to do these things, get political leaders of different shades and persuasions, and we honor one of our own, regardless their background.
And it's also a teachable moment, and there's lots of history, and I think that's why we talk about the work that he did, the life that he led before joining politics, during and after, and all the people around him in that space. And I think what's been interesting about this moment is how